Hey everyone, I never got around to doing a 500 subscriber special, and seeing how I just unlocked the community post feature, I thought I'd make one to do a Q&A and test out the feature a little bit. Just quickly before I start, I want to thank everyone for your support on the last video. Episode 20 absolutely blew it out of the park in terms of numbers in such a short amount of time. I really don't know where everybody came from, but people watched, and that makes me feel awesome, so thank you. First of all, the answer to this one is, nice try, Sarah. Charlie T asked, hey man, I'd like to hear the answer to Sarah T's question. See previous. Also, how did you find yourself making content? What has been one of the biggest issues or struggles with producing Gnomely? Has anything in your personal life made content creation easier or harder? And lastly, what aspects of Runescape are you most drawn to? What brings you back? Cheers. Alright, thanks for the question, bro. This is a big one, but I'll dive into it. I found myself making content at the start of 2019 because I'd seen a lot of YouTube videos coming out at that time that inspired me. Obviously, Swampletics had just come out, and that was doing its biggest numbers with weekly episodes and everything crazy like that. There were a bunch of other snowflakes that had come out, like, obviously, Karumja Only with Verf and stuff like that. I'd seen a couple small ones as well. Rag was doing 2005 only, and I looked at that, and I just thought, there's so many fantastic ideas that can be put into play here. Here's one that I can think of that nobody's done yet, and I just want to do it. You know what I mean? Instead of hoping and waiting for somebody else to do it, I thought, this is my opportunity. I've got an idea, and I can do this for like a long time until it's finished, and it's not just a one-off idea, so I can use this and like build a channel and build some video creating skills, so I just went for it. I've been watching RuneScape YouTube since 2009 anyway, so it's always been like a big part of my life, and obviously when you're that influenced by something, you're going to want to try it eventually if you love something that much. As for the biggest issues with producing Gnomely, obviously the biggest one is finding time. With my full-time job that has been no less relenting today than it was 3 years ago when I started, it's obviously really hard to dedicate time to stupid grinds that Snowflake accounts do, like getting 55 thieving, taking 12 hours, 70 crafting, taking like 30. Like, how am I supposed to do that? If I had a clear schedule and nothing to do, Gnomely would have been done a year and a half ago, but obviously it's not, so here we are. But other than that, I don't think there's been anything too difficult in terms of producing Gnomely. Trust me, if there'd been something like really difficult, it probably would have just stopped me in my tracks entirely, so it's been pretty cruisy as far as I'm concerned. For my personal life, well, if I'd told my wife every weekend for the last year, hey, I'm gonna make a Gnomely episode this weekend and not talk to you, I wouldn't have a wife anymore, you know what I'm saying? So obviously dedicating time to family and friends also takes away from the ability to work on YouTube, but the social YouTube balance, it's worth it for me because I'm not trying to do this thing full time. It's just a side hobby, you know what I mean? As for what aspects of RuneScape I'm drawn to, well, 1, nostalgia, whether I like that or not. 2, quests, and that's the reason that I made the goal of this account a quest. I've always loved quests since I was a kid, but for real, bro, if you put a gun to my head and asked me to tell you why I still play RuneScape after all these years, or you'd pull the trigger, I'd just tell you to do it, you know what I mean? We're all crack addicts, and RuneScape is our fix. Like, there's no way to deny it. It's just, we're here, and we're stuck, and we can't leave, so that's something that draws me to the game, I guess. The mechanic asked, was Gnomely your first Snowflake idea? Did you try other ideas before? If so, what were they, and why didn't you end up going with each one? So Gnomely wasn't my first Snowflake idea, but it was the first one that I actually tried to do, and currently the only one still. In late 2018, right around the time Rag started his 2005 locked Iron Man, I came up with the concept for a 2004 locked Iron Man, which is even more restrictive, obviously. You're locked to, like, the God spells and the Dragon Longsword. There's no whip or deskim, and I wanted to make the end goal King Black Dragon pet and Calphite Queen pet, because those were the two strongest bosses at the time. Obviously, the pets weren't there in 2004, but they'd make cool goals better than, like, the head or the D2H or whatever, so that was my first idea, and I still want to do that at some point. I'm really drawn to the idea of old school, like, old school RuneScape that doesn't exist anymore, that you can't find anymore, and trying to replicate it as much as possible. I think that'd be really fascinating, and then trying to include, like, 2004 culture in the series as well, you know what I mean? Obviously, you can't play 2004 songs, copyright, but I could try and do some cool time-themed stuff with that series if I was going to do that, so stay tuned for that. There might be a thing I do in the future. Crunkle asks, why are you so freaking cool? Pfft, says you, man. You just sent me a video of you playing fucking tenor sax. Come on, bro. Everyone go subscribe to my man Crunkle OSRS. This dude is a legend. His last video, Rap Only, is better than anything I've ever edited. This dude spits fire. He plays RuneScape. That's all you need, bro. Go check him out. The next two questions kind of go hand in hand, so I'll combine them here. Simply Paste 123 and Grim Reaper Calls asked, have you considered unlocking more areas once you've completed MM2, or do you see the account as completed once it's done? Thanks for the series. Thanks so much for the question. Gnomely as an account is not something I want to leave as a trophy when the series is finished, because this Iron Man account that I've made for the series is actually almost on par with my main now, because I haven't played a lot of main old school RuneScape, and it would be such a shame to leave it sitting there going to waste, because I still love old school RuneScape, and I really do want to play it, and I don't play my main on old school RuneScape like barely ever, because I'm logged into RS3 on that account most of the time. So I do want to keep playing on this account because I've made it so far and done such cool stuff with it. I want to unlock more areas. I don't have those plans finalized yet, but I'm definitely thinking Entrana. I'm definitely thinking the Ogre Enclave dungeon. I really want to push for Priest and Peril so I can get Aberrant Spectre tasks and Bloodveld tasks for gear upgrades. There's a bunch of post-MM2 stuff that I could do, and I do think I'm likely to do that, so I think that's what's going to happen with the account going forward. And eventually, if I complete all those as well, I just might like take the shackles off and make it my full-blown Iron Man, but that won't be for years. So that's what I'm thinking of doing with the series once the account is finished. And lastly, Zavelda has asked, I've been looking to start a theme/area locked hardcore. How did you plan Normally out as far as knowing what drops or skills to go for first, and knowing what to do afterwards to progress? Obviously, the limitations of each account vary, so it's kind of a broad question. Thanks. Thanks for the question, bro. How did I plan Normally? Well, you're asking me to remember a long time ago now, but so what I did is I came up with the area concept, and then I got the wiki article for all the places I was planning on being, looking at all the quests, seeing what was possible on the wiki. All of this is on the wiki at this point, and looking at Monkey Madness 2, saying, okay, I need this quest, this quest, this quest. I listed out all the skill requirements. I was like, okay, can I get this here? Yes. Can I get this here? Yes. Can I get this item? Yes. Can I get this item? Yes. And if I couldn't immediately find out if I could get that item, I would dig deeper and see if I could get it. For example, the maple log for Eyes of Gluffrey quest, I can't get in my areas at a regular maple tree, but I looked it up and I saw, hey, if I get a bird's nest, get a maple seed, plant a maple tree, and then cut that, I've got the items. So things like that are what you do to kind of figure out how you can get through your requirements and your goals. You know what I mean? I also had a tournament world at my disposal back then, which was massively useful. I could grab as many stamina pots as I wanted and run around and look at the areas and see what was actually there and like see if the wiki had any misinformation. But all it really was because of I knew what my goal was, so I looked at the requirements and then looked through my areas that I had planned to see if it was possible. I already have a stupid amount of RuneScape knowledge like lodged in my brain from back when I read the RS wiki on my PSP as a kid, so I already had a lot of it caked in, and it was just filling in the blanks to see if it was possible. If you want to start a area locked hardcore, 1, you should absolutely do it because it's so much fun. 2, make it a series if you can. You don't have to. The pressure of recording and editing this stuff has kind of made me play the account a lot less, because I'd get home from work, want to log in, but fuck, I've got to sit down and record, so I've got to set up the mic and I've got to be in voice, so I just didn't log in at all, you know what I mean? So no pressure to make a series, but I would definitely recommend an area locked Iron Man to have fun with. Secondly, know the areas that you're going to restrict yourself to. Don't be like a friend and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to kill the Dagonoth Kings without leaving Relica, and then realize it's not possible 2 episodes in. You have to have it properly set up. You need to have your goal concrete from the first episode, or like from the start, and then you just run with it from there, you know what I mean? If the opportunity for a tournament world comes up, absolutely take it. Just read the wiki a lot and make sure you filled in all the gaps, because I had a few that I went into the series with assuming they would work but ended up not working, so you've always got to like double check everything. When is your next song dropping? Well, Army of One. I'm so glad you asked. I'm putting out a new song on March 18th. It's another collab with my favorite fucking rapper that I have met, and it is going to be fireworks. This one's 6 months in the making. I put a hell of a lot of effort into the video, and I think it's like one of my best performances yet, so I'm really excited about it. It's RuneScape related, so maybe not the RuneScape you're used to, but stick around and have a look at it. It's just so fucking cool, so I really hope you guys enjoy that. Anyway, that's all the questions that I got on the post. Thanks so much to everybody who asked a question. You guys are legends. I hope to see you guys in the final episode of Normally. That's going to be very exciting. Going to be working on that very soon, getting it ready for the 30th of March to get it on the 3-year anniversary of the first episode. I'm very excited about that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.